Thank you for braving the cold. We're gonna get started. But before we do, some quick logistics, okay? It's single digits. If you need help at any point, we have hand warmers, we have volunteer marshals. Look for someone in a high-vis vest. If you can't find them, put your hand up, give a shout, put a light up. We will come find you, okay? We can get warmed up in the rec center. We can get somebody to you with a heat blanket. We have care on hand, all right? My name is Harper Stanfield. I'm a union officer with AFGE Local 3911 here in New York City. I'm a federal worker. My mom's a nurse. My brother depends on the VA for care. There are pieces of my life that are connected to Alex. That's right. Of good neighbors, of people who care about the environment, of all the things that we know Alex Pretti to be. That connects us, but the most important thing that connects us tonight is that we care and that we are here. We care about the people being abducted by ICE and Border Patrol in communities around this country, in Minneapolis, in New York City, in buildings in downtown Manhattan. We care about our neighbors, we care about each other, and that's why we're all here tonight. We're here to celebrate Alex Pretti's life and mourn his loss. We're here to demand justice for Alex and all of ICE's victims throughout this country. That's in Minneapolis, in New York, in prison camps, and in communities nationwide. Tonight, we're going to hear from union leaders, from healthcare workers, from immigrants' rights advocates, and from people who care just like you all. And the first person we're going to hear from tonight is the public advocate, Jumaane Williams.
Thank you so much. Peace and blessings. Love and light to everyone. Thank you to the federal workers who are here, the nurses, Meisner 1199, so many other folks who are here. I appreciate giving me the ability to break protocol a little bit. And can we just say a couple names? So I want to say Keith Porter. Can you repeat that name? Keith Porter.
Keith Porter.
Nicole Good. Alex Pretti.
Alex Pretti.
And so many others whose names we don't know and some that we do. As a nurse, I'm not surprised to see him out there. He was murdered doing what nurses do, trying to protect someone and trying to hurt someone. What pisses me off most is not the people who actually believe in fascism and not the people who believe in Nazism and not the MAGA leaders who are doing what they said they would do. It is the people who pretend that they don't believe in Nazism, that they don't believe in fascism, and they're not supporting this. Because this thing doesn't take hold when fascists take hold. It takes hold when people make excuses. And I'm tired of people across this country continuing to make excuses after excuses and not calling what this is. We saw on video what we saw. Stop telling us it's something else. This is reminiscent of Nazi Germany. This is reminiscent of Rwanda. This is reminiscent of all of the things that we said would happen. This is not accidental. This is the byproduct of a MAGA America. This is the byproduct of this type of leadership from Donald Trump. And I'm thankful that people are now saying they are sorry for not speaking out earlier. But I'm hoping we learn the lessons so no more people have to die. Just remember Alex Pretti. Hopefully remember him for who he was. But I need people who say they are better than this to stop making excuses for MAGA murder. Stop making excuses for MAGA otherizing people. We've seen it in history over and over again. MAGA America is a violent America. MAGA America gives permission for people to hate people they want to hate. We must move in love. We must move the way Alex Pretti moved, trying to help one another. So I am grateful that we are here in his memory, and I'm hoping that we act in his memory. This is what a MAGA America leads to. It does now, and it does throughout history. It always will. Whenever you otherize someone, this is the result. So please, let's do something different. When it's time to vote on ICE, when it's time to go on the midterms, when it's time to make leadership changes, let's get this BS out of here in the name of the people that I mentioned. And let them be remembered as the American heroes that they are. And I must end with this. Black Americans have been dealing with a lot of this for a very, very, very long time. And I want to make sure I lift that up. So please, when we continue to fight, we fight for everyone. We'll leave no one behind. No one gets left behind. That has to include our trans Americans as well. Peace and blessing, love and light to you all. Thank you, Alex Pretti. Thank you to all the nurses out there. I appreciate
Received a candle. You may have received some palm cards. Those candles, if you'd like, we're going to light them all towards the end of the night as a way to honor Alex Pretti and Renee Good and all the victims of ICE and Border Patrol. And then we're going to head back that way towards the memorial. That'll happen later tonight. You also received a palm card. If at points during this night you're moved to action, there are ways that we can help right now. We can help the nurses here in New York City carrying on Alex Pretti's legacy of service in the hospital. We can help the people on the ground in Minnesota with jail funds. We can help the people protecting their neighbors. So, next up, we're going to hear from NNU nurse Ketsia St. Fort, who is reading a statement from Alex's parents, Susan and Michael Pretti.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Ketsia St. Fort, and I'm honored to stand here.
Can't hear you.
I'm honored to stand before you tonight on behalf of National Nurses United. We gather in solidarity together to be surrounded by the warm glow of candles tonight to honor the life and legacy of Alex Pretti. This evening, we come together as a community to acknowledge the devastating loss of a dedicated nurse, a selfless caregiver, a shining light in our profession. Our hearts are heavy with grief, but we are also filled with respect and admiration for the life of Alex Pretti. As we stand here, I want you to take a moment to look around and see the faces of the people who are here to support one another. We are colleagues, friends, family, and community members, all united in our sorrow and our determination to keep Alex Pretti's memory alive. Please join me in taking a deep breath, and let's take a moment to acknowledge the emotions that are present with us this evening. Now, I would like to share a statement from Alex Pretti's heartbroken parents, Michael and Susan Pretti. And I quote, "Alex was a kind-hearted soul who cared deeply for his family and friends, and also the American veterans who he cared for as an ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA. Alex wanted to make a difference in the world. Unfortunately, he will not be with us to see his impact. I do not throw around the hero term lightly. However, his last thought and act was to protect a woman. The sickening lies about our son are reprehensible and disgusting. Alex is clearly not holding a gun when attacked. He has his phone in his right hand, and his empty left hand is raised above his head while trying to protect the woman just pushed down, all while being pepper sprayed. Please get the truth out about our son. He was a good man. Thank you." End quote.
Thank you, Ketsia. And thank you to Susan and Michael. Thank you to his parents for showing us who you knew Alex to be and for sharing that with the world. The world's listening, we're listening, and we're going to take action. Our next speaker is going to bring an international perspective and solidarity from our neighbors to the north. Please welcome Angela Pretti, VP of the Canadian Federation of Nurses.
My name is Angela Pretti. I'm the Secretary-Treasurer for the Canadian Federation of Nurses Unions. Like you, I'm shocked, outraged, and deeply saddened by the recent events in your beautiful country, my neighbor. Last Saturday morning, after the tragic loss of Alex Pretti, we were at a loss for what to do. We found ourselves reading countless social media tributes, all how he was such a good person and what an exceptional nurse he had been. His parents, Susan and Michael Pretti, have asked us to tell the world that their son was a hero. Tonight, we honor Alex in his name. His last nursing student offered a heartbreaking tribute. Caring for people was at the core of who he was. Jessica, if you're out there, as a nurse with 35 years experience, I know that because of Alex's mentorship, you will become the kind nurse who will make him proud. Thank you to our dear friends at the National Nurses Union, United, for inviting your Canadian Nurses Union's neighbors to be part of this memorial. Please know that in Canada, we joined many others across the world in a candlelight vigil yesterday to honor Alex Pretti and to say that we will never, ever forget. And to the proud members of AFGE Local 3669 from the Harbor Healthcare System VA, Alex's union, you know that nurse solidarity not only crosses union borders, but also countries. Rest in power, Alex.
All right. Thank you, Angela. I think we all recognize that healthcare is universal. It's a universal issue. The struggle of the immigrant is a universal issue. And we must build bridges across all that divides us, whether that be geographic boundaries, class boundaries, ways of life, spirituality. We must build those bridges. Our next speaker joins us today from his job at the VA hospital. Please welcome Oded Strobel and a new nurse to read that tribute that Angela just referenced.
Good evening. My name is Odette Strobel, and I am a nurse, just like Alex was. Nurses worldwide share a common trait amongst them, and that is compassion. You can go into any medical facility anywhere in the world, and you are sure to find a nurse at the bedside pouring their blood, sweat, and tears, quite literally, into their work, working tirelessly to give all their heart to those entrusted to their care. This is not a characteristic that has an on-off switch. It is the foundation of our profession and a characteristic that stays with us no matter how long ago we clocked out. We are here today to pay tribute to one such nurse who was tragically killed this past week, Alex Pretti.
Murdered.
I would like to take this opportunity to share with you some words written by Alex's friend and nursing student. And I quote, "I was Alex Pretti's final nursing student. He was my friend and my nursing mentor. For the past 4 months, he trained me to care for the sickest of the sick as an ICU nurse. He taught me how to care for arterial and central lines, the intricacies of managing multiple IVs filled with life-saving solutions, and how to watch over every heartbeat, every breath, and every flicker of life, ready to act the moment they wavered. Techniques intended to heal. Alex carried patience, compassion, and calm as a steady light within him. Even at the very end, that light was there. I recognized his familiar stillness and signature calm composure shining through during those unbearable final moments captured on camera. It does not surprise me that his final words were, "Are you okay?" Caring for people was at the core of who he was. He was incapable of causing harm. He lived a life of healing, and he lived it well. Alex believed strongly in the rights rooted in our Constitution and its amendments. He spoke out for justice and peace whenever he could, not only out of obligation, but out of a belief that we are more connected than divided, and that communication would bring us together. I want his family to know his legacy lives on. I am a better nurse because of the wisdom and skills instilled in me. I carry his light with me into every room, letting it guide and steady my hands as I heal and care for those in need. Please honor my friend by standing up for peace, preferably with a cup of black coffee in hand and a couple of pieces of candy in your pocket, just as he would. He would remind you that caring for others is hard work, and we must do whatever it takes to get through the long shifts. Step outside with your dog, breathe in the world, hike or bike as he loves to do, and let yourself find peace in the quiet moments within nature. Stand up for justice and speak with those whose views differ from your own. Hold your beliefs with strength, but always extend love outward, even in the face of adversity. Take one step, no matter how small, to help heal our world. Through these acts, carry his light forward in his name. Let his legacy continue to heal. Thank you.
Thank you, Oded. Alex lived a mission of public service in the hospital and on the streets looking after his neighbors. We've been called to take one step to heal our world. Tonight is a step in that direction, but we must continue taking those steps together tomorrow and every day. We must carry Alex's light forward. Next up, we're going to hear from a veteran and the president of the 5 boroughs veterans, Michael Matos.
My name is Michael Matos. I am the president of 5 borough veterans, and here at the VA's Margaret Corbin campus is where I receive care. The nurses among you are essential to veterans like myself living fulfilled lives after military service. They are our caretakers. They mean as much to us as those who we stood shoulder to shoulder when this nation called upon us to defend it. Alex Pretti was one of those caretakers. In his last moments, he chose to put himself in harm's way at the defense of another. In our community, that is one of the most honorable things one can do in their life. But Alex Pretti should be here today with us. And he is not, because federal agents chose to unholster his legally owned firearm, remove it from his person, and shoot him until he stopped breathing.
Shame!
That is not honorable. That is cowardice. And that is why we are here today, to honor the legacy of Nurse Pretti, and to remember, this is a nation of the people, by the people, and for the people. We veterans took an oath to support and defend the Constitution, and that Constitution belongs to each and every one of you. Not a masked agent, not a government agency, and not a sitting president. I served in the United States Coast Guard, the only branch of the military under the Department of Homeland Security. And I can tell you now, there is a better way forward. We can replace these terrorizing raids in our communities with civil processes that have already been proven to be 95% effective at a fraction of the current cost of the taxpayer. We can instill effective leadership to the Department of Homeland Security and replace a would-be influencer with a seasoned professional specialized in multi-agency crisis management. But to survive as a constitutional nation, ICE must be shut down. And to those who are concerned with the country's capability of ensuring safety and security, rest assured, the promise made by those of us that have served does not expire. Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's apparent to everyone that this country demands a reckoning with ICE. It's not an issue of training, it's not an issue of funding, it's an issue of existence. And that issue of existence goes both ways. You can't criminalize human existence. Next up, we're going to welcome Audrey Seeley, a nurse practitioner with 1199 SEIU. Audrey.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
My name is Dr. Audrey Dupree Seeley. I am a registered nurse. I am also a proud member of 1199. I am a veteran. United States Army Nurse Corps. I'm out here today in the cold because I had to be here tonight. I'm here as a nurse, I'm here as a union member, and I'm here as a veteran.
Thank you.
I'm here to honor and remember Alex Pretti, who was killed caring for others. Although I did not know him personally, I feel the pain. A comrade in arms. We're doing a job to help our community. A caregiver who was always there for his patients, for his neighbors, and for us. As we stand here remembering and honoring Alex, whose life was taken from federal agents who were only in Minnesota to terrorize the immigrants. I also want to acknowledge at this front line, healthcare workers who are immigrants themselves are at risk. Immigrant caregivers show up 7 days a week, and work 52 weeks a year, no matter what, no matter the weather, no matter the time. In New York, over 50% of the healthcare workers are immigrants, including 1 out of every 3 RNs. Despite their service to their communities, they are under attack by the federal government. Next week, almost 350,000 Haitians will lose their temporary protection status, including their means for caring for patients in this country. Tonight, we remember Alex, but tomorrow we will organize. We will resist. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your service.
before we continue, I have a big ask for the crowd, and I know this may be difficult, but if we could shift a bit further into the park and maybe a bit this way. The crowd is all the way down this street to First Ave. Yeah. And they can only hear when the crowd screams really loud. We would love for them to also be able to hear the speakers. So if you all can shift that way a little bit, and maybe a little bit that way too, if we have any space. I don't know what kind of space is on the street. But it's gonna be warmer when we fill in, right? Get to know your neighbors, that's the whole point of this. The ambulance passed by and then we'll keep moving.
And security. This has been about cruelty, and that is their point. Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretti were executed. They were executed in Minnesota. We have witnessed over 30 plus immigrants who have died or were murdered in ICE custody. And then we witnessed several ICE officers and Border Patrol officers execute him. The Trump administration wants us to believe what they are saying and not what our ears and eyes are seeing.
Liars.
It is time for our federal reps to stand up and stand with us. It is time for Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, and the entire federal delegation from New York to stand up and fight. There is no reason to negotiate with terrorists. It is important that you all call Senator Schumer and Gillibrand and demand that the Senate not pass the continuing resolution with even more money for ICE, less protections for people who call this country home, and to demand that they claw back $170 billion that was in the omnibus, also known as HR 1, which was incredibly horrible, which robbed us of our tax dollars that went to social service programs that keep our communities safe, to give their billionaire buddies tax breaks. At the state level, we demand that our state legislator step up and defend New Yorkers. It is on them to protect us, all 19 million people who call this state home. They must pass New York for All, which would tell the federal government New York is not in the business of colluding with you to execute Americans on these streets, separate our families, or gut our communities. And we demand the passage of the Access to Representation Act. No one should be going in front of a court where a judge and prosecutor's sole job is to remove you from this country without a defense. And that is what ARA will do. And I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Hold Alex Pretti and his family in your heart. And remember why we do this work. Any one of us can be Alex. Any single one of us. It was not too long ago that we celebrated our frontline workers. And now we're seeing the US government executing them in the streets. And I'd be remiss not to give a shout out to our frontline workers who every single day are putting their lives on the line for us. And I want to give a huge shout out to the New York State nurses who are currently striking at 3 hospitals. This is the largest strike in New York City history. Give them their love that they deserve. Give them fair pay. Give them a fair contract. Give them pay patient safety, because that's what they're fighting for. They're not fighting solely for themselves. They're fighting for every single one of us. Safe staffing is a must. All of us turn to our healthcare workers when we're not doing well. It is time that we stood up with them. And Alex, if he was here in New York, would be standing with the NYC and the nurses day in and day out. And I hope that each and every one of you stand with them, join a picket line, and continue to demand justice for all of us, because that's what we're fighting for. This is not about one community pitting against another. We're all in this together. They want us to believe that there are people who are trying to divide us. It is them in power. So this is the moment that we have all been waiting for. This is the moment that you are being called upon to stand up for injustice wherever it shows up. If it shows up in our hospitals, if it shows up in our streets, if it shows up in our schools, we must show up as well. Thank you all for being here, and I'll kick it back.
Immigrants are welcome here. No fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate. No fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate. No fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate. No fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
That's right.
Immigrants are welcome.
New York City was built by immigrants.
Yes.
This city is built on the labor and the livelihood of our immigrant neighbors, and we must stick up for them. We must protect them. We must follow Alex's example. Of our union siblings across this city and pulling this together and in finding solidarity in the common ground that is commemorating Alex's life, honoring his legacy, and figuring out how to move forward together. Next, we're going to hear from a union leader here in New York City who is not only connected to Alex's life and his work in public service, in healthcare, but she's connected to a lot of the people in this crowd because she's fighting alongside the rest of the New York State Nurses Association for the rights of all NYSDA nurses. That's President Nancy Higgins from the New York State Nurses Association.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. My name is Nancy Higgins, and I'm the president of the New York State Nurses Association. Nearly 15,000 New York nurses are on strike day 18, the largest and the longest strike in our history. And I'm also the president of National Nurses United. Our fight for fair contract that protect nurses and patient safety is connected to the fight everywhere to protect our communities and the most vulnerable members of our society. By now, we all have seen the footage of a fellow nurse, Alex Pretti, murdered in cold blood by ICE agents for protecting his community. We have all read the heartbreaking words of his parents. As a nurse, as a parent, and as an Haitian immigrant, I am horrified, deeply saddened, and outraged by Alex Pretti's murder. To be a nurse is to care for others. Alex Pretti represented the best of what our profession stands for. Yes. He touched the lives of not just his friends, family, union family, colleagues, patients, and neighbors, but nurses around the country. And we are devastated by his loss. We gather strength by joining together here to remember him and honor his work and his life. We gather strength knowing that we are not alone in the struggle to protect our immigrant communities and the dignity of all people from the Trump administration's ruthless attacks. We gather strength in our fight here in New York City to keep ICE out of our hospitals, to make hospitals places of healing, and to ensure that our immigrant patients receive the safe, quality care everyone deserves. One thing people should know about nurses: we are not easily intimidated. Alex Pretti showed that when he went back onto the streets to protest shortly after ICE agents broke his ribs when he was protecting his immigrant neighbors. He showed that when he stepped in to protect his fellow protester who was under attack, his last words were words of compassion. Are you okay? I'm here to tell you, we are not okay. ICE's attack on our communities, on our neighbors, on our patients, on our fellow nurses are not okay. No. But like Alex Pretti, we're still not gonna back down. We will not be silenced. No. We will not be intimidated. No. We will continue to fight for justice. Yes. For Alex and for everyone in our communities. Yes. Thank you.
The nurses that keep New York healthy are under attack right now. We can help them tonight. When you came in, you may have received a little palm card with QR codes on it. If you scan those QR codes, you'll have the option to donate to the Neisner Hardship Fund to help support the striking nurses working the line in these miserable conditions. You'll also be able to support people on the ground in Minnesota, protecting their communities. I encourage you to scan those QR codes and then pass it to your neighbor and get to know your neighbor. Right now, we're going to start lighting candles, so we have some lighters positioned around the area. Please help your neighbor. Once your candle is lit, pass the light along. If you have a lighter, great, let's get that started. Honoring Alex Pretti and the names of ICE's many victims.
Hello, everybody. My name is Maya Greeley. I'm a union officer with AFG 3911. I'm the granddaughter of a VA nurse, a veteran, and immigrants, documented and undocumented. We're here today not only because U.S. citizens are being murdered in cold blood by federal agents. It's unacceptable. Yes. Alex was the 9th person to be killed by ICE and Border Patrol in 2026 alone. We're only into the first fucking month of this year. I'm going to read the names of each person ICE and Border Patrol have killed in just the past 28 days, and we'll all say their names as well. Geraldo Lunas Campos. Geraldo Lunas Campos. Victor Manuel Diaz. Victor Manuel Diaz. Party La. Party La. Luis Beltran Llanas Cruz. Luis Beltran Llanas Cruz. Eber Sanchez Dominguez. Eber Sanchez Dominguez. Luis Gustavo Nunez Caceres. Luis Gustavo Nunez Caceres. Keith Porter Jr. Keith Porter Jr. Renee Good. Renee Good.
Thank you, Maya. Just as there are moments when we must be loud, when we must take a stance, and we must stick up for our neighbors, there are also moments when we must be silent and reflect on how far we've come as a people, as a movement, and how far we still have to go. We're going to stand in silence to honor Alex Pretti and every victim of ICE and Border Patrol, every immigrant community that is besieged right now by ICE and Border Patrol, and all the people who are defending their neighbors day in and day out in New York City and around the country. Please lift your candles, your lights, and stand in silence with us. Thank you.
Ice out of New York! Ice out of New York! Ice out! Ice out of New York! Ice out! Ice out of New York! 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 Ice out of New York!
ICE has no place in this city, and they have no place in our communities.
Whoa!
I look around, I see a beautiful collection of people, of people from all over this city and all over the world. Union members, nurses, frontline workers, public servants, good neighbors, people who care enough to stand out here in freezing temperatures. This is what it's going to take. This is the work that Alex Pretti began for us, that we must carry on. Tonight we've seen that we're not alone in our pain, in our anger. We're surrounded by New Yorkers who feel the same way, who care deeply about their community and this country. We must carry Alex's mission and his legacy together. I encourage all of you to keep his name in your hearts and in your minds and with you as we are in the streets looking after our neighbors. Thank you to everyone for joining tonight. Thank you to the folks who helped put this together, to the unions, thank you to our organizers across AFG, Alex's union, and across SEIU, and across all the federal unionists who helped put this together. Thank you to the city and the mayor's office for helping us string this together on very short notice. And most of all, thank you to the immigrants who built this country. And have every right to feel safe in it. And thank you to the activists and allies in New York City, in Minnesota, and in communities across the country who are stepping up and risking their lives to defend their immigrant neighbors. Thank you, Alex, and thank you all.
Thank you. Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back!
Yeah. We're fighting.
We'll never be defeated. United. We'll never be defeated. United. We'll never be defeated. The people united. We'll never be defeated. The people united. We'll never be defeated. The people united. We'll never be defeated.
Thank you all. We now need to make a peaceful exodus out of this space. As we do that, I encourage all of you to head back down 23rd Street towards the memorial. If you brought something, feel free to place it there. Feel free to honor Alex and the victims of ICE and Border Patrol in whatever way you choose. And we will follow you after. We're now going to have Susie Inglot with a song to usher us out. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you, Harper, and thank you so much for coordinating this event. Here we go!
Guys, somewhere. Joel. Okay, cool. I'll hopefully run into you. Yeah. Someone else.
Okay, bye. Good to see you. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like we're very.
Next week, actually.